Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point Shorts, and this is where I just give you a quick opinion on trending news topics. And so unless you've been under a rock, you probably have missed the story about Jada Pinkett Smith and August Alsina, where August, who is a singer, he did an interview with Angela Yee, where he just, released out into the universe that he and Jada Pinkett Smith had an affair, and that it was with Will's blessings. And so people were, I think nobody was really surprised that the two of them had an affair. I think that the surprise came in the fact that he, freed himself of that information and said that Will had given him permission. And so if you guys remember, August was actually on Jada Pinkett Smith's The Red Table Talk. And people were saying then that the two of them had an affair. So it's not like it was a secret. It was something, I guess, that had been rumored for some time. And now it has come to the surface. So after the whole blow up from the Angela Yee interview, Jada announced that she was going to bring her own self to the table talk and that she was going to have a conversation about what was going on, because there needed to be some healing that takes place. And so that healing came today, but I don't know who was healed from it. And I don't know. I know a lot of women on the feminist side, it's probably giving Jada a high five. Like, girl, you did that, whatever. And then there are people who, like myself, are always concerned about people's feelings and how we treat one another, who are probably saying, Jada, why did you emasculate your husband like that on Facebook? Okay. When I tell you guys, there was a meme going around of Jada and Jada sitting at the red table, but I guess they decided that wasn't going to work. And so she needed somebody at the red table with her. And she decided that it was going to be Will. Now, my thought is, if you're going to bring your husband on this platform to acknowledge that you had an affair, that it would be a healing moment, okay, where you are apologetic for what you did, whether she's been unapologetic behind the scenes or not, since you're bringing this to the public platform, to have this moment in front of thousands, tens of thousands, probably 100,000 people. Once this is all said and done, the least thing you could have done was issue your life partner a sincere, humble apology. But we didn't get that. And guys, when I tell you, Will looked like, I don't know if he had cried the night before, and you cry all night long about a situation, and then the next day your eyes is all red and puffy, and no matter how many eye drops you drop in, you can't get rid of that look that I cried all night long. Well, that's how Will was looking. And I don't know if he cried all night long or if they had to take a couple of takes, to step away from this conversation that they were having, because he kept breaking down. But it was apparent that Will was emotionally drained from this conversation. And he tried to keep it lighthearted and everything, but his pain was apparent. And then Jada sitting there with her arrogant ass like she's the queen bee, and she got this thing under control. And what I found interesting is, she was using all these fancy words to describe what happened between her and August, basically saying that, August was going through a really trying and troubling time. And if you guys get an opportunity, and I'm going to drop the links actually in this video, but August Alsina released a 5-part docuseries last month where he goes back to Louisiana. I think he's from New Orleans. He goes back to New Orleans and he's talking to family and friends and just basically telling his life story. And so his father was addicted to crack, I believe, or addicted to drugs. Then his brother died, and then the sister died a few years after the brother died. And so, he's been through a lot of hard things. He loves his mom a lot, but I guess there's tension between him and his mom because his mom won't acknowledge that he was molested as a child or when he was younger. And so now, he's battling with medical issues. And then he's also dealing with drug addiction. He has been addicted to drugs, but he's also has other medical conditions going on. And so just a really, I thought it was a powerful documentary, a telling documentary, and it's probably more powerful to me because I do community storytelling. That was the basis of my master's program in college, was doing community storytelling. So it was powerful to me. He didn't mention Jada in that documentary. He mentioned Jada, a couple of weeks later when he was doing this interview with Angela. So anyway, Jada gets on there and she's like, oh, there was a situation, there was this. And so Will is like, no, what was it? We're not going to use fancy words to cover things up. And so she basically comes out and says that she was trying to help August as he was, in a very troubled place, going through some things, having a hard time. And at the same time, her and Will had actually separated. So they had a break in their marriage where she said they were going through some things and Will was like, no, we were over, we were done with, we were finished. Or maybe it was Jada that said they were finished and Will was trying to say that they were taking a separation to figure out what they were going to do. But at some point, about 4 years ago, Will and Jada had parted ways. They weren't getting along. They thought their marriage was over. In the meantime, she's helping August go through this situation he's going through. And then voila, somehow she ended up getting the Peter, okay? Getting the peen. She was getting it, okay? And she seemed to have enjoyed it. And Jada had no remorse on her face. She was, saying and admitting that she had an affair. But what I hate when people like double talk and double speak, because I'm thinking if you're clearing the air, like you're bringing it to the red table talk, we needed to hear Jada say, yes, I had an affair with August Alsina. My 40-something-year-old self had banging hot sex with this young 21-year-old or however old he was at the time, and that I was dead wrong for doing it. Okay, but Jada didn't do that. Jada just said that they had a situation that her and Will, she kept emphasizing that her and Will were not together at the time, and that she had this relationship, that August brought her some healing, she brought him some healing, but she could not utter the words that she had sex with August. She wouldn't say that. So Will, in the meantime, is sitting there looking like he done cried a river of tears. And then when they get to the end of the conversation, Jada says, okay, well, it's over and done with. We're going to put it in the past. And then Will said he was going to get some revenge. And then Jada was like, oh, no, well, we're not going to do that. And then Will was like, yes, it ain't over until I get some revenge. So, oh, no. And then Jada said, I think she said, oh, you done did enough yourself. Like, I guess trying to insinuate that Will done had some extramarital affairs himself. Child, I see this marriage being over with in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, because I'm sitting there looking at them saying, how do you recover from this public humiliation? Like, it is one thing for a spouse to cheat on another spouse in private, and you deal with it in private and you move on. But to deal with, infidelity on a public stage, when you can't even call it what it was, when you can't even utter the words to say, I slept with another man, I had sex with another man, I violated this relationship where my family had brought this young man into our lives you know, to help him and help heal him and help him get through what he was going through. And I took advantage of that situation. The fact that she couldn't say that lets me know that coming to the table didn't heal anything, and that there's still some deep-rooted issues, some deep-rooted resentment going on in the Smith household. And so I wouldn't be surprised if within the next year or so we hear that Jada and Will have gotten a divorce and gone their separate ways. There was just too much pain on Will's face as this was taking place, that I just don't see the healing that Jada, you know, is trying to pretend that they have had. So guys, I just wanted to bring this little quick thought to you all, you know, give you my impression of that orchestrated red table talk. Jada would have did better just sitting there by herself. Maybe she should have brought Jaden or Willow on there to ask her these questions, because how are they doing? How are they feeling, you know, with all this being out in the public? And then she also said that, I guess after the relationship ended, that she has not spoken to August since then, which had me kind of confused, because she said that this happened 4 years ago. But I know good and well that Red Table Talk ain't 4 years old, because August was on there. Was it like 2 years ago when August was on there? I did a video on it, so I'm gonna have to go back and get the dates and see what the date was that I did that video on that Red Table Talk where August Alsina was on there. But anyway, guys, these were just my quick thoughts on the situation. Let me know what you think. Did you watch the interview? It was a very short interview. It was only like 12 minutes long. What were your impressions of Will? Do you think that since they decided to bring this to the Red Table, that Jada said enough, that she said the right words to like squash the whole conversation? Leave your comments below and let me know what you think. Like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.